Once in a while you see a definition of insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. And we're pretty insane because we attempt over and over again, I can even speak for myself, to seek happiness, to find joy in life, and we'll do all kinds of different combinations of the same thing. And maybe we don't realize that we're doing the same thing, but we try over and over and over again, and in the end we end up empty, and we end up unhappy, and we act surprised. How does Christ enter into that picture? Well, Christ very often, and again I can speak for myself, very often is the one element, the one thing that we try, that we don't try, that we sort of push off to the end, that we do anything other than actually try to live with Him. And so we were unhappy, and so we try, maybe we need some more friends, maybe we need sort of more money, maybe we need more distractions in our life. And we've tried it before, and we've tried and failed, and those things have not made us happy. And in our insanity we keep trying, we try again and again. We'll sort of think, well, maybe I need to sort of do more for others. And that's a good thing. And then still, we end up empty if Christ is not in the picture. And maybe we just need to try again and again and again. And we try again and again and again, and when Christ is not in the picture, we are not going to be happy. There's going to be something missing. All these things maybe are necessary for our life, but they're not sufficient for happiness. And so it's Christ that's going to change things. It's Christ that's going to really make it different than what we were doing before. And yet, how is it? I mean, it's easy to say, okay, Christ is the one who is going to sort of finally bring us happiness, but how do I find Him? Well, we have the gospel today as a kind of picture for how Christ reveals Himself to us. It says, He revealed Himself in this way. This is how Christ reveals Himself, at least among other ways. The disciples, those 5 that are named, Peter, Thomas, Nathanael, 2 others, and 2 others, so 7 total, the 2 sons of Zebedee and 2 others, were together. And I do think that's the first step. Friendship, community, living with others is necessary. Even though Christ wasn't yet with them, Christ revealed Himself to them as a group, as a community of friends that cared about each other. So isolation is a way to guarantee, pushing others away is a way to guarantee that Christ will not reveal Himself to us. But being with others, even though it's a step towards Christ being there, Christ isn't there yet. Just having friends isn't enough. It's necessary, but it's not sufficient. And He says, I am going fishing, and they said to Him, we will go with you. So that's another step. Christ is not there yet, but it's something that they do. They help each other. They take care of others. And so not just living in community and having friends, but caring about others and doing something, working to help them. That's needed. To not do that, to live a life of selfishness, even if we have friends, but to only just sort of care about ourselves and to sort of use them just for what we want, that's a way to guarantee that Christ will not come to us. But even doing that is not to guarantee that Christ is there. It's necessary, but it's not enough. And they work all night. They fish all night, and as day is breaking, they've still caught nothing. And then that's when Christ appears, but they still don't recognize Him. So Christ is there, but how do we recognize Him? And this is the part that maybe is the most challenging. In their moment of the heaviest discouragement, Jesus says, well, throw the net once again. Cast the net one more time. That's really hard. When we're discouraged, to try one more time, when we're really ready to give up after working all night, and we just want to sort of throw our hands up and forget it, to do that one last act of hope, not giving in to discouragement, trying yet again. That's the last step. And if we don't do that, again, if they had said, no, forget it, I don't think Christ would have revealed himself to them. When they did that, that's when Christ appeared. And yet, even trying again in the midst of discouragement, that's necessary. But even that's not enough. Christ himself has to be there. Now, what does that mean? What I mean by that is, we do not cause Jesus to come to us. He reveals himself to us. And so all these things, living in community, helping others and caring about them, trying again even when we're discouraged, are needed. But in the end, it is a grace that Christ gives us, not because of what we've done. All we do, all of our efforts, are just to open the door of our hearts. In the end, it is still something that Christ gives us for free that comes from him and not from us. When he gives himself to us in our lives, when he gives us his friendship, when he lives in our hearts. And so all of these things are doors that we open, and after that we invite Christ. We have to actually speak to him. We have to actually pray, and truly pray with our hearts and our minds in love for this friend that has revealed himself to us. So what is it that I need to change? What is it that we need to change when we feel lonely and empty? What is it that we're not doing that opens the door for Christ's friendship? And so I want to conclude by saying something I think that's really important today. On Mother's Day, we discover that moms almost have no choice. They have to live with others. They have to take care of their kids. They have to help in an unselfish way. It's something that you can't really even be a mom without being unselfish. And they have to keep going. It's not their choice. If they're discouraged, the kids still need what they need. They still need a mom. And so this is a really beautiful and kind of awe-inspiring thing, that God gives this grace to mothers that sort of puts them in a position where they have to be open to his grace. And so I want to, in addition to wishing Happy Mother's Day, I want to say, pray for moms and thank them, because what they're doing is not only something that is beautiful for their children, but it's an example of Christian life in a very sort of beautiful and preeminent way. And so Happy Mother's Day, and we pray for all of the moms that are living in this sort of beautiful Christian unselfish way, and we ask for their prayers for all of us and for the whole church. Amen.